Glad you asked me to interview me today about West Star. I think West Star is one of the premier leadership classes that I've seen anywhere. And I've been to the University of Alabama's Delta Leadership Program, University of Tennessee's program. Actually, that's where I met Bob Smith, was at the University of Tennessee's leadership program. He actually taught at that leadership program. I got to know Dr. Smith, and from that involvement, I went to West Star in '93. It was one of the best things that I ever did. I ended up having to miss a class due to a lawsuit the county was in at that time, but we worked it all out with Dr. Smith, and it worked out really well. West Star in '93 was just getting started. I think I was actually in the third class. Bob had a gentleman by the name of Stan, and Virginia actually worked part-time, but it was a good experience for me, and met a lot of people that I still stay in contact with. But the thing about West Star, it promotes people in the region working together, and no other leadership program that I've been to actually promotes that regionalism that West Star does. And I think some of the things that have happened in West Tennessee because of West Star, I think the READY program in Jackson is a direct result of West Star. That's 11 counties that are working together on an educational program as well as other economic development things. I think the mega site was certainly enhanced by the West Star program. We got a lot of support out of West Star, and leaders in the counties that have been through West Star have supported West Star along with the state legislators. Two administrations, Governor Brether's administration and Governor Haslam's administration, have both been supportive of the mega site, the solar farm. There are a lot of good things that have come about because of West Star. The thing I see now that West Star is doing is we're changing focus a little bit. Y'all seem to be focused more on education, I think, which is something that we've got to do in West Tennessee, change the way we're educating people in order to make our economic development a little easier and better program. We've got to have a better workforce in order to make things work economically for us. West Tennessee is kind of, I won't say we've been the stepchild of Tennessee. We're just a different area than Middle. Of course, Middle gets the benefit of being the capital and what goes on around the capital. East Tennessee, of course, has the university there, as well as other factors. But West Tennessee's been the agricultural end of Tennessee as far as row crops, and so economic development has been a little slower to evolve in West Tennessee. But now that we all see that while agriculture is important, it's not the job creator that it was when I was young, when you got started in school and other things. Agriculture was so important as a job creator. Now it's a big economic a big economic factor as far as money is involved, but it doesn't create the jobs that it did even 20 years ago. So we've got to focus on education. We've got to focus on to continue to work for West Tennessee to work together to make things happen. The port, I mentioned the mega site, I mentioned READY, but the port in Lake County is a regional program that I think was certainly benefited because of West Star and the involvement in West Star of the principals in that port with O'Brien Lake and Dyer County working together. We'll do a whole lot more in West Tennessee working as a unit than we will as 21 individual counties. Another thing that I see that's important maybe is to include, and West Star has kind of been exclusive of Shelby County. And Shelby County hadn't really been involved, but I'd like to see West Star maybe be more inclusive of Shelby County and what's going on in Shelby County, because I think Memphis, regardless of what we think about Memphis, Memphis is an economic driver for West Tennessee. Memphis is on a roll right now. They just announced the big Nike expansion. They've had the Electrolux, the Mitsubishi electric plant down there. So Memphis is on a roll. Memphis will help our mega site, of course. It'll help the port. in up in northwest Tennessee. So I think we need to be more inclusive of Shelby County and not exclude them so much as we've all done in the past. Whether we like the politics in Memphis or what goes on in Memphis, Memphis is an economic development driver for West Tennessee, and I think we need to do that. And I'd like to see Charlie and West Star recruit more people in the class out of Memphis. What's changed? Well, we've talked about some of the changes, but I think West Star needs to continue to focus on education, economic development, and building a strong regional program in West Tennessee. And I think that will be the success of West Star. I certainly enjoy. I think a good thing that West Star is doing is they've included more communities in hosting the West Star programs and give an opportunity to counties and cities to showcase what we've got going in our own communities. I know Brownsville and Haywood County was the first community to step out and support West Star, and we've been a financial supporter as well as hosting the program. I'm glad to see Covington step up. Ripley's now involved. Gibson County is involved. And I think that's all good because we've all got so much to be proud of, but we've all got our warts. And while we don't like to expose our warts, we certainly like for folks to see what we're proud of. But the way to do away with your warts is to continue to do good things in your community. One of the things about Haywood County is we haven't shown any growth. We've got 25 miles of interstate, but yet we haven't grown. We've actually lost population in the last 50 years, 60 years, and we need to reverse that. The way we're going to do that is to strengthen our school system. I think we've got good schools. I think the change in administration that we've had at the Board of Education, I think is going to be a positive. I think Dr. King was good for our community when he was here, but I think Teresa Russell will be better at bringing the community together and making people want to support our local schools. The renovations that the county commission supported at the high school, I think, is important for Haywood County. I was out the other day and we were going to have a luncheon in the library, but the air was down, so we had to move it over to vocational school. But that was good because they're finishing up those renovations, and I think at some point in time the county commission will certainly be proud of what we did at Haywood High School. Building the tornado safe spaces and the additional classrooms at both Haywood Elementary and the middle school are important for our community, and we need to continue to support public education and to make sure that our workforce is going to be what we want it to be with something going on at the mega site. I got word the other day from Carolyn, the director of the Whiteville Votech School, vocational school, that they're going to bring a nursing program back to Haywood County. I think that's certainly a benefit, as well as have a medical technology program here starting here in the fall. So I think that's two good things we're going to have going on. We weren't successful in keeping Jackson State involved here, but I think that's something we can start again in the future. But our READY program, we've got about 28 kids that have received scholarships from us, so that's a good thing. We're working with a senior class now that, my understanding, they've got about 20 that are going to be involved in it. So I think that's a good thing. And all this is, I think, a direct benefit because of people in Haywood County's involvement with West Star. So I'd like to see West Star continue to grow, to continue to be the premier leadership program in the state of Tennessee or even in the Southeast. I'm glad Haywood County has had we've had a lot of graduates from West Star. I think we need to continue to develop our alumni association, just like y'all have done with your local leadership program, and things will be different in West Tennessee.